Let's look at Roman numerals in the context of chords. So if you're not familiar with Roman numerals, that's where we express a number with a letter. So I is 1 and two I's would be 2. When we get to things like 4, that would be an I and then a V. And 5 would be just a V. And how that works is if there's a small number and then a big number, the small number is subtracted from the big number. And if I had, say, 6, that would be VI. If the small number comes after the big number, then it's added. So IV is 4 minus 1, and V is, it's 5 minus 1, which is 4. And V is 5, and VI would be 5 plus 1, or 6. So that's how Roman numerals work. Now, in music, we use Roman numerals to express chords, and they can give us two important pieces of information. They can tell us the number in the scale or key that the chord is built on. So in this case, this would be the first note in a scale and the chord built on that note. This would be the fourth note in the scale and the chord built on that note. And this would be the fifth note in the scale and the chord built on that note. So the number part is really important. But also, and the reason we use Roman numerals instead of regular numbers, is that Roman numerals are letters, and letters can show us capital and lowercase. And so Roman numerals are often used because they can show the quality of the chord. Meaning, if I have a lowercase ii, that's saying a minor 2. Or if I have a lowercase vi, that's saying a minor 6. Numbers can't be capital or lowercase, but Roman numerals, because they're letters, can be. So that's the general idea of how Roman numerals work. Now, in music, we'll often refer to the chords as the number. So that's a 5 chord, that's a 1 chord, or watch out for the 6 chord. And when we do, we're saying it's the number in that scale and the chord that it's built on. We're going to be looking at 3 of these with some greater depth right now. The 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So if we're thinking about the key of A, and A is the 1 chord, then go through the alphabet and figure out what would the 4 chord be. Well, A, B, C, D. So the 4 chord is D. And this is a capital 4, so that means it's D major. And if D is the 4, then what would the 5 be? The 5 would be E. Hey, those look familiar with what we've been working on lately. So if A is the 1, and D is the 4, and E is the 5, if I played a 1-4-5 in the key of A, I'd be playing A, D, E. You can do this with any key, and as long as you know the scale really well, then you can figure out what the chords are supposed to be. And they do follow a distinct pattern that you'll start to recognize once you work with more of them. But for right now, if you don't know about chord patterns and you don't know about scales, that's okay. Just focus on the fact that in the key of A major, our 1 would be A, and our 4 would be D, and our 5 would be E. And in any major key, the 1, the 4, and the 5 are also going to be major chords. So if you find any major key, like the key of C or the key of G, you can use that to figure out what would my 4th and 5th chords be, and you'll know that those are also major chords.